Hi.
Hello. Good to see you at home and not in a random dining establishment.
Hey, I'm just letting everybody know we go live whenever, wherever,
Yep.
anytime, any place.
It's like the hardcore title. You got to be ready 24/7.
That's right. That's
I
right.
forgot that was the. Oh, go ahead.
My daughter loves. She goes, "Are you really going live in there?" Yes, yes, I am.
Yes, I
May,
am.
may even got an interview scheduled while we were there. So.
Oh, I heard that you were conducting business while we were waiting to do the live last night.
All business, baby.
I forgot the hardcore title was the original, like 24/7 title. We were watching WrestleMania 18 the other night, and I think Hardcore Holly had it or Gold Dust had. I don't know. There was like 6 people that had the hardcore title throughout the show. I think
Yeah.
even Molly Holly took it at one point.
Yeah, Terry Reynolds was a champion one time. One of the Godfather's managers. I'll keep it PG for right now. Look, one of the Godfather's hoes. She was a champion.
The whole
Yeah.
train.
Yeah, coaching ain't easy, or pimping ain't easy. My bad.
Coaching ain't easy. That's a good shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, we need the shirts in that font that says "Coaching ain't easy."
I'll have to look at that font and see what kind it is. See if we can get glitter sparkles.
Look at that. We were 2 minutes in. We've already come up with an idea.
There we go.
You already came up with an idea.
Yeah, but no, that promo. I call them promos because when we talk to wrestlers, it's like, hey, we want to do our interviews is like we want to interview you for like who you are, and then the promos like, no, this is just to do the business thing. If we're going to
The
talk
wrestling
wrestling
portion. Well, but
and
it's hard too because you can't like gimmick wise or kayfabe. Like it's such a hard thing to be like because you don't know what's okay and what's not sometimes.
exactly.
Like I feel like that. Like I'm learning what the terms are that you're supposed to use and what you're not. So it's getting there, but I feel like it's a really hard world to navigate when you're very new in it.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like we come in with it. We're like, man, we're respectful. Like we don't know what to say, so just tell us if we are not allowed to say it. Most of the time, I'm not going
Yeah.
to go and say like, "Oh, that's a heel," or like I'm going to good guy, bad guy. We're going to keep
Yeah.
it very childlike.
Or we just
Until
like you just allude to the fact that they're the good guy or the bad guy, and you're more just like painting the picture to where you're kind of whatever. I don't want to give too much of the inside, but I think people kind of understand the gist of it. But it's fun, and they put on a really entertaining show. Like even the people that came just to watch to see what the hell we did, like I think most of them really enjoyed the actual show other than just that part. And I hope that more people do that. I hope more people bring their kids to the August 10th one. And we threw out an idea. If you haven't watched it yet, we interviewed Kyle Hall, Mr. H, the owner of Signal 10 last night. And we threw out the idea at the end that we want to bring signs back. So we want to see people bring their signs to Signal 10 on August 10th. He did just announce while we're on the wrestling topic for our diner title, we have Mr. Ashton Adonis taking on Sam Knight. And hopefully Ashton, takes our title back from Mr. Sam that
here we go,
hostage on us.
This will be Sam Knight's first title defense with the big green.
No, we're deciding who the champion is. You have to eliminate all of the competitors to become the champion. If you let Mr. H roll underneath the ring.
Well, technically, then it should be Sam Knight, Mr. H, not Ashton.
Yeah, but he understood his role in this, and he has too many things to do behind the scenes and to run a show. So he doesn't have time to go out there and waste his time with Sam. He's going to send actual top tier talent like Ashton Adonis to go take our title back, which I'm very excited about.
I guess if you don't want to do it yourself, you might as well get a top tier person. So,
absolutely.
But that'll be a heck of a match. So what is it, August 10th, Summer Bash? Yep. That's the first match announced. There was also another match announced for another show, Newcastle Agony. So Signal 10 Wrestling is growing. It's getting more popular. They're hitting the road. Well, they're going to Newcastle August 3rd. And it's a combo show. It's going to be wrestling, and then there's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu show going on to follow Signal 10. They've already announced one match, and it is the Signal 10 heavyweight champion in a non-title match against Elijah Eros.
Ooh, that'll be good.
Elijah Eros, he's a young up-and-comer. He was just most recently on some OVW tapings.
I saw that.
And then you got Mr. International, 33 countries, won dozens of titles, faced top tier talent in Jake Oman.
Big fan of Jake Oman. I feel like Elijah Eros, no pun intended, has kind of caught lightning in a bottle lately, and he has been on fire. I've seen him everywhere.
He's everywhere, baby. And that's the whole thing is.
I even tried to save him.
You did try to save him, and that worked out horrible for you.
Well, it worked out great for him. It did not work out
you.
great for me. It
Yeah.
ended very quickly for me, but
Well, much like
and I
my
guess
nightlife, it's very quickly.
And again, another selfish plug here, but go to Signal 10's YouTube or search through our page, and the Ultimate Rumble is live. You get to listen to us do commentary, ring announcing, and make our wrestling debut. So It was a very, very fun 30 minutes.
A 20-man over the top rope Royal Rumble. That was a lot of fun. A lot of special moments, a lot of cool stuff going on, and you need to go check it out. If you missed it live, that's your fault. You suck. No, I'm joking, you don't suck. But that's on you. You can watch the YouTube video. You get to watch the replay. But the emotional aspect will be not as big.
I feel like you get the emotional aspect of it you get to kind of get the gist of it. But yeah, if you've not been to a Signal 10 show and you're not busy on August 10th, the tickets go on sale on Monday. And for sure, if you have kids, even if you don't have kids, you'll have a good time. But if you have kids, the kids have loved it. The interaction, it's just a really, really fun night of entertainment for not a lot. And yeah, I feel like absolutely take your kids, get tickets on Monday, and come have some fun with us.
We even got to see another video. There was an altercation that happened after Signal 10 ended the show. Anthony Lee and Ashton Adonis jumped Funk and Fresh as they were leaving.
Oh,
they were getting there in their
that
car.
That was outside by the horse barn, correct?
It was outside by the horse barn, and luckily Ashton and Anthony Lee got out of there before all the people in the horse barn charged and wanted to fight. Because
that's good, because I need Ashton to be in tip-top shape on August 10th because I need that title to come back.
Mm-hmm. And they'll be facing off against. So Funk and Fresh is the tag champions of the organization that I think it's RCW.
Okay.
And they have a show coming up. I suck with dates, but Ashton Adonis, Anthony Leaf take on Funk and Fresh for, I believe, those titles. I could be wrong. I usually am.
Sweet. So I feel like that's a pretty good transition to something we've been debating. We'll get to that in a minute, the debate. But something we've been kind of debating is turning this show and transitioning into a wrestling show where we can kind of break down, rather than breaking down the trending topics of what's going on, we kind of dive into the wrestling world. We talk about, WWE, AEW, TNA, the indie scene. We talk with our diner champion, Signal 10, literally whatever. I mean, obviously we've spent the first almost 10 minutes talking about it on this one. So I don't know.
And whoever, whatever wrestling wants to be talked about, whatever wrestler wants to come on.
Let's do it. So we're contemplating kind of transitioning this show into that. If you have an opinion either way, drop it in here. But here are kind of some of the things we've been kicking around was the Power Slam platter, or we had the good old luchador lunchbox. But my thought was to kind of push this to like the 11, 12 o'clock area, give you a little more time to get your things done in the morning, and then we can kind of utilize this to talk about the weekend coming up in wrestling, whether it's, there's pay-per-views coming up, there's cool indie shows, the week leading up to it, cool headlines in wrestling, but just kind of break down everything wrestling instead of trending topics. So if you have an opinion either way, and this is like your source of news, which if it is, then I would definitely look elsewhere. But that being said, please let us know, because we could always, add a different day or whatever we decide to do. But that was kind of the general thought currently. So we'll see what we decide.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're both passionate about wrestling, and it comes natural. And all the gobbledygook we see about wrestling anyway, it's pretty easy. I mean, we've literally talked about it for how long? 10 minutes?
10 minutes. I feel like we've gotten kind of jettisoned into that world, and that's something me and you have always been passionate about, and that's been kind of the gist of our whole thing so far, has been kind of following those things that we're passionate about, that we have fun with, and then, if it's something people want to watch, then cool. If not, then cool. Same thing with what we've been doing with this. Some people may want to watch us ramble about trending topics. Some people don't. So that was kind of the thought here. Was I know, a lot of these topics aren't exactly your cup of tea, and wrestling kind of aligns with both of us, and we can, have that fun back and forth. So just a thought. We'll see what happens, but
Yeah. So
Can you hear my dogs going ape shit in the background?
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay, good. They are like, I don't know what they're doing, but it is aggressive.
That's like my truck making a funny noise. Nobody else hears it except me. I'm like,
yeah,
dude,
I don't. They weren't even fighting. She was on the couch and she was just rolling around going really loud, and it was obnoxious. Anyway,
hey Harold, I just want to say hi. You're cool
hello.
too, buddy.
He always tells us we're cool. Such a nice fella.
I know he's an awesome person.
I just missed my straw. I don't know if you saw that or not, but I went above my cup instead of
good
on
thing
my
it wasn't
straw.
one of the metal straws. You stab yourself.
Joust myself. Anyway, let's go ahead.
That's why they the metal straws. They've been warning those because people ain't been paying attention. They're like stabbing themselves in the eye and like dying.
Just like I did. I went underneath my throat like a dumbass. But we can go into some like actual topics today if you want. Okay. We'll save the debate for last because I have a lot to say about the debate. So we can save it for last. Did you have anything?
Yeah, the NBA draft. The NBA draft was the last 2 nights. I don't know who went number one because Bronny James was the topic of conversation.
Yeah, so we talked about that. We talked about that not too long ago, that he was going to play with his dad for sure because, again, why not? Ratings-wise, it's all a reality show. I am convinced, and we'll get into that with the debate and stuff here in a minute, but it all seems like it's all just pretend. Like, if LeBron's making phone calls to other teams saying, hey, if you try to draft him, he's going to Australia, so don't waste your pick. Like, even if that's all that happened, you're still stacking the deck to make sure you get your kid because they want the ratings. They want the father-son duo playing against each other. I mean, it's smart business, but it just furthers what everybody thinks anyway. It's like, oh, this shit's all just a show.
You know, it's showing that one man can basically pick how he wants the league to look. And it's like, if I was one of those teams that didn't have a prayer anyway of like, okay, we're in rebuild mode, screw it, we're going to take him. And then go play in Australia because you won't like it. Because the people in Australia do not care who your father is. They do not care who you are. You're just another guy playing basketball.
And the money here is so much different. Like, it was just a bully tactic to make sure you got your way, which I feel like is most aspects of life. Like, that's where a lot of these things, when reality TV first started, like, we all bought in. Most people, I feel like, were like, oh, this is like real. Then you start realizing like, oh, no, this isn't real. This is all scripted stuff. Like, they're pretending to be real. They're pretending to put these things out here. And that seems to be the way most of society is, where it's all this pretend thing to make you think one way or the other. And yeah, I don't know how much more we want to talk about Bronny, but I got about a 10-minute rant on the debate that, like, it was ridiculous. It was, I think I physically stood and watched maybe 2 or 3 minutes when you dropped me off after the podcast last night. And for those that didn't see the picture, we were actually on a podcast last night. We were interviewed on the Connected podcast. So go follow them and go check that out when it drops. But I don't know if you watched any of it. I mean, if you were on social media, I made it 2 minutes in and I couldn't do it. I couldn't stomach it. It's the same thing we talk about all the time, where it's the finger pointing. It's like nobody's taking that platform to look at the camera and say, fellow Americans, I know that this shit is messed up. I know that the prices of things are quadruple, the border, the this, the that, the other. There's a lot of things going on in the world right now. And the biggest pop that those two got were arguing about their fucking golf scores. And it's like, these are the two people that as a country we're looking at going, yep, these are the smartest, these are the most brilliant, these are the most powerful, the well-educated. No, these are the people that we're being told to pick from. And I don't understand that theory that, like, these people are in their 80s. No offense to anyone in their 80s, but cognitively, you saw this last night. There's a serious decline, and then the other one's a bully. And it makes no sense. And it's like, instead of taking that time, Trump could have literally looked at the camera and did exactly what I said last night. And with Joe Biden mumbling and not being able to speak, but then they both make themselves look like asshats, where one of them can't put together a sentence correctly and the other one's yelling at him, talking about how bad they all are. And it's like, great. Neither of you took the opportunity to really pick apart these problems. And I did see clips where there were some good parts of it. And obviously, when you're going off of clips, you're getting a lot of the negative. That's just the way social media is. So people are clipping all the bad stuff that Joe did, all the crazy things that Trump said, all this and that. And again, I don't feel like we're making much progress to better the country. I feel like you're going from one extreme to the other. Like, you're telling me there's nobody else out there that is more educated, has more strength, has more heart, whatever it is. Like, you need that well-balanced person that can do all of those things, because there are times where you're going to have to stand up for things and whatever, but you also have to look at your country and the humans that you're over top of. And that makes no sense to me that this is what we get in a debate. There's no questions being asked by either candidate to the other one to ask for their opinion or whatever. It's not a normal conversation back and forth having a debate. It's picked and chosen questions that they can ask these guys, and they already have their predetermined responses for what they get asked, and it just comes off as fake bullshit. And it's like, oh, we're just almost living in a reality show where they're telling us these are the best humans. Most people, I would assume, no relatives or friends where they're watching these debates going, hell, my Uncle Johnny could be president. Like, that's the way of the world, is that we're just told to pick between these guys because they've been in power, politics, the media, business, whatever it is, for long enough to deem them, whether it be corrupt enough or able to be controlled enough to become president. Like, I don't know if Joe Schmo decided, hey, I think I have what it takes to run for president. Can you do that? Like, could you fight the media? Could you fight, like, you could do a social media campaign, I suppose, and make some traction. But like, even a person like RFK, who's an independent, who I'll be honest, I don't know enough about to say either way. I don't know enough about any of them to say either way. I have no idea. But based off of what I'm seeing, it makes no sense to me that these are the people that we're going with as a country. And it's like, oh, this is just who we're supposed to pick from. And like, that was a shit show. Like, that made me sad for our country that this is what we're doing. And it's just an argument back and forth. It's just the same negative bullshit in the media to keep people divided, to keep people arguing over red ties and blue ties. And it's all bullshit. Like, it all seems like, I mean, I don't know back then. I know what I'm learning now about our food, but I'm not sure that anything changed with our food when Trump was president either. So it seems like that he's on the same page with certain things. And I don't know. I'm not super well versed into the political world, so I try not to either pick sides, dive into any of it. But watching that last night, it was like a shit show of a wrestling like promo where they're going back and forth, just saying the bad things that the other one did, and they're arguing about golf scores, and Biden's talking about Trump fucking a porn star. And it's like, hold on, this is what, like, the other countries have to just be laughing at us at this point of like, look at this shit. This is what they're doing over there. This is what, and then you see all the turmoil on Twitter, whether it be the border stuff, these big cities that are just caving because people are out of their damn minds. And as a country, it's like, where are the real people that are supposed to be doing this stuff? Where are the real people that should be in charge? Like, at this point, there's more conspiracy on Twitter than there is like real things. And it's hard to decipher what's real and what's not. And it baffles me that we like have, and I guess it's hard to fix, because what do you do? But at the end of the day, it's like, wow, we're just sitting back as a country watching this reality show. And it's like, what do we do? And I don't know what that answer is, but I don't know that it's go back into this craziness with these two 80-year-olds that just literally spend the whole debate fighting each other rather than picking apart these issues in our country.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like, to answer your question with like most people, like, I wouldn't want to deal with the headache, because once you get in that office, you already have half the people going against you. Instead of saying, all right, this isn't my dude, but we need to work, he's the captain of this ship. Instead of poking holes in the ship and letting it sink, Why don't we suck it up, work together, and
Yeah.
see what we can do? And most people don't want to. I mean, most people that would be like I look around even at the political landscape around city, state. It's all older people, like younger people. Like I don't want to mess with it because
Yeah.
it's tough, and
It's a
it's
fair
almost I
point.
don't want to say it's a losing battle, but it's a very uphill battle, and it's like, oh, do I want to mess with it for the
Yeah.
low
No, that's
pay?
very true. But I assume there's people out there that are
Oh yeah.
actually brilliant minds that have the strength to do what needs to be done, that have the heart to look at it that way. And I get it. There are certain situations that, I'm sure they come up, obviously never been in that world. So nor do I ever want to be. But you also like for a long time, I always took people at face value. So I assumed that all this stuff was real. I assumed that people had your best interest at heart. But at the end of the day, we all have a job. Like, and I know, like, you've been in the corporate world, I've been in the corporate world. When you have bosses getting on you about numbers and about this and that and the other, and you find a corner that you can cut, that it's like, okay, I can do it this way and we're good. Or you realize, like, oh, like, yeah, they want me to do that, but nobody's really checking that report. I'm going to skip that part this morning so I can move forward. That's all well and good until you start doing that with things that affect people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's where a lot of these people, Rogan put it the other day, that they're all just people at a job. And if your boss was getting ready to get fired and that meant you were going to lose your cushy job, or you're making, a couple $100,000 salary, but you've worked it to where you're worth millions and millions of dollars in whatever fashion you chose to get there, yeah, you're going to work and do everything you can to make sure you keep that job. And it put that human thing in it where I'm like, oh, yeah, like, and that's the people that we have running the country. And then you learn that on a personal level, where I just had a situation where I was paying a thing and I was giving someone money to pay that thing. And I assumed that person had my best interest. Well, come to find out, they did what was best for their job and their place of business rather than logically what would have been right for me and what I was supposed to be doing. And you kind of learn that on that level too, where it's like, oh, these are just people at a job, and not everyone has the same morals. Not everyone has the same thought patterns. So yeah, you can get these not so great people in these positions that don't have the country's best interest, don't have, and they're just doing what they need to do to line their pockets and to make sure they stay in power. And that's what I feel like most of the political landscape turned into. It turned into this reality show money grab where they've all realized that they can pad the numbers and they can do this and that. And it's just this fight back and forth to gain power. And it's like, when are we going to get someone who actually has our best interest in mind, or the world's best interest in mind? And that's what we're looking for, where we do become this powerhouse of a country again, because we're actually doing things the correct way and we're taking care of it the way it used to be done, or even just in a different fashion now, but actually putting humans first and not the dollar, which seems to be what everything in our world revolves around.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I hope. I feel like right now there's the two party system because they got the deepest pockets, and
Yep.
anybody who does like I don't want to say I don't know if third party, fourth party, whatever, if they have the best interest either, but I feel like more people might care and it's different, but they don't have the pockets. And at the end of the day,
Yeah, and
it's who's got the most money is going to win.
I feel like there's been some independents over time that have been like seemingly pretty good, but you never know. But they never get that pull, whether it's because it's rigged, whether it's who knows. I have no idea.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it seems like the red or blue tie has all of the control. And if you're not part of that club, then you're not allowed to take part, because I assume for control reasons, same thing they do most of the other things they do, whether it's media or food or whatever. It seems like it's a lot about control and making sure that people don't necessarily think for themselves or want to think for themselves. And it's like when we get pushed, that's the debate that we get to sit and watch. And it's like, oh, I have questions now. Like those are the two people that we've chosen to be the leader of the free world, and this is our options. Like, these are the two people of all the whatever, however many people are in this country. Those are the two that we're boiling this down to, that are the most cognitively fit, the most whatever smart, all the different attributes. Those are the people that we've chosen, and there's not anyone better in this country to represent us. I find that very, very hard to believe.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It's that's what, when I saw it was on, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch Young Sheldon instead.
It's a much better choice.
It was more entertaining, I can probably tell you that.
Yeah.
I saw stuff on Twitter at like 4. I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning. I don't know why. I just did.
Just ready to rock.
And I was like, oh, they fought. The biggest thing was golf. I was like, well, just have a golf. I guess have a golf match. I guess that's what it comes down to. We'll just golf it out and go.
Best golfer gets to run the country. I think that. I mean, you might as well at this point. That's how crazy this has gotten. I feel like that would be just as logical as anything else that they're doing right now. I mean, at least then you'd get to watch it and you'd get to see if it was rigged or not. It'd be hysterical. I would love to watch that. They need to do a match with Trump and Aaron Rodgers versus Biden and I don't know, one of the people on that side that he's argued with a million times. I mean, you could take your pick, but I feel like, yeah, you might as well just do something like that for our presidential election at this point, because it doesn't. Yeah, who knows? There's a million different things on Twitter. You have to decipher what's real and what's not. Then you watch that shit show of a debate where, again, I didn't watch it. I watched clips and I watched 2 minutes of it and was just, again, that gut wrenching, like, oh, this is awful. I can't even sit and watch this shit. And I turned it off, and then I was looking at clips throughout the evening, and then I watched some stuff this morning before we got on here, and I'm like, these fuckers really just argued about golf. Like, they point fingers at each other, tell each other that they're the worst president 1,000 times, and then they both pop and actually react, and they start talking about golf scores. And it's like, yeah, because that was real. That was them really getting offended. The rest of it's bullshit to them. It's all just words that they say that they're all told to say. The golf thing really struck a nerve because it's their real passion. That's something they really fucking cared about. And it's like, yeah, hey, maybe let's get some people who actually care about the country in these positions and stop making it about their own money and their own wallets and their own ego and power. And maybe we'd actually make some progress.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we'll see. It's going to be crazy.
I told you I was going to go on a soapbox this morning.
Well, I'm sure Saturday Night Live is going to have some skits. So,
yeah, it was. The memes are hilarious of all the different like clips and stuff people have pulled out. It's so funny, but again, it makes me sad because it's like this is where we're at as a country. That this is what's happening. Like that again. These are the two people that we're deeming the best quality for running the free world, and you're watching this debate going, hold on. These motherfuckers are the ones we're picking from? Like, I mean, shit, we know 10 people personally that I would rather vote for president than I would rather vote for those two. And it's like, what is happening? Why are these the dudes that we're going for?
I don't know. Like
money. I do.
I mean,
money and power.
I guess.
But
yeah.
Well, I'll get off my soapbox.
Yeah. We have a guest coming in. I think he might have.
Oh,
I heard somebody drive down the road. So.
All right. Well, you want to go out on our new 4th of July commercial, and then I will head to your house.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to me rant about the world and politics. Apologies, and we will see you next week.
Later.
Bye.